credit for. We're gonna have here in just a second. Marty's gonna come up. Whenever we get to these milestones, we want to make sure that we spend time to recognize because I have never done anything for 35 years. So certainly want to recognize all of this dedication, hard work. Won't even start to talk about what you got paid probably 35 years ago. What they all the miles traveling. But without further ado, we have a plaque that we have give and had in honor of
Bubba, let's read that before.
for James.
Come up here.
James, if you would come front and center. I know your voice has slipped a little bit.
Says the NOA, the Northeast Oklahoma Officials Association, recognizes James Estes upon his retirement from a long and distinguished career as an OSSAA football official in Oklahoma. James' love for the kids and his dedication to the game have been a hallmark of his career as an official, awarded June 30th, 2026.
It's your brother.
James. I don't know if James remembers this or not. I think anything happened, but the first game I ever officiated in basketball was with James in Oaks, America. And Oaks, America. I forgot my belt. And back then, I don't know if you remember or not, those of you that have been around for a long time, having a belt was kind of an issue. And I wanted to have a belt. He didn't know if we needed a belt. And I can remember the first thing about officiating basketball was this distinguished conversation we got in about whether we needed a belt or not officiating basketball. So I never will forget that.
Now they don't want you to wear it.
Now they don't want you to wear it. So James, I appreciate everything you've done. Thank you. I know you and my dad had a lot of memories together, and I certainly enjoy hearing about those. And so I appreciate that. So moving into the 2026 football season. Once again, thank you for being here. We've got lots on the plate. No pun intended with the chicken that we had here tonight. Dedication and commitment that it will take that you have, and you started now. Football season is here, really. And James and I were talking about that this just a few minutes ago. Football season, this point of the season seems to roll around faster and faster and faster. So football season seems to really never stop. And for those of us that love it, those of us that enjoy it, we're thankful for that. So we're looking forward to just a few more weeks of football season. The ball will be kicked off. But what we do now in preparation for that is just as important leading up to the second and third week of August when the kids put in all the hard work starting in August and been lifting weights all summer, and they put the pads on in their first scrimmage. So you are just as important, if not, we think, as important as the players and the coaches. But we're going to introduce another group that we have talked about for several years, the fans. Everybody goes, wait a minute, what am I doing here? Why are the fans part of this? Because we want them to enjoy the experience of being here. We're here for the players, we're here for the coaches, and then we're here for the fans. And all of this servitude that you are here for is geared for that. And you're going to see here in just a second when Marty puts this information up, those of you that have seen, how many of you have seen the points of emphasis from NFHS before now? How many of you have seen the points of emphasis? All right. We've got some issues that we have and that are starting to develop. And it's around the sportsmanship and the way the game is played, the way the game is perceived, the way the game that the fans are seeing, the way that we conduct or allow the players to play, and the coaches to coach, because the first two bullet points are not gonna be about holding. They're not gonna be about pass interference. They're not gonna be about where you spotted the ball or how you enforce the penalty. They're going to be about players' sportsmanship and coaches, the way they act and controlling the sidelines. All right, we're gonna get into just a little bit of this coaching in just a little bit, but we're on recording, so I gotta be careful of what I say. But what I can say without any doubt whatsoever, because you have been there. I have been there. I spent 5 games embedded in the high school last year, and it was great. I loved it. It brought back lots of memories about Watts and Oaks and those moments that we had. And I enjoyed those. But what it brought to life last year was the old days, and I can say his name because we've all spent a lot of time, those that have been around for a long time, those old days of the coaches like that we used to have at Little Kansas, the John Hannas that were present. And when you knew, the players knew, we knew as officials, and the fans knew who was in charge. We were there to work for him. And that's the way it was. All right. Now, when we were working for him years ago, we kind of took it for granted. Nowadays, we'd like to have some of those guys back. I'm not saying anything bad about the guys that are here now. It is the environment in which that we are coaching in. It is the environment in which that we are teaching in. It is the environment in which we are administrating in. All right. So you are going to have to think about that. I am going to have to think about that when we are officiating. The first 2 bullet points are going to be about player conduct. All right. So let's get into it and talk a little bit about it. Now, what I don't want to do, Marty, if you'll hit next slide. Please.
Okay.
What I don't want to do is spend the next hour and 15 minutes being the only one that speaks. So you need to speak. There's how many years of officiating do you have?
49 right now.
Almost 50. There's multiple numbers in here with experience. So I believe that you're conducting a meeting and you're standing up in front of people. The best thing you can do is listen. So 30% of my activity needs to be listening. So that means you guys need to be speaking. So we're going to go. Our first 2 bullet points, player safety. I'm not going to go through this and insult your intelligence and read this. All right. But here are some of the things. What are some of the other things that would jump out at you that you have been embedded in this situation? As we get ready to go through this stuff, late hits, taunting, fighting, head and neck contact. Is this real stuff? We had to deal with this stuff last year.
Yeah.
Everybody at East Stable, multiple head up and down. We had to deal with this stuff last year. If they would just show up and play. I heard that over and over. They just show up and play, and the coach can just show up and coach. All right. We've always said that. We've said that for 35 years. We've said that for 50 years, but it's getting worse. So that's why our first 2 bullet points are the way they are. All right, let's go on to the next one. Please stop me if you have anything to say or any questions whatsoever. So, how do we handle it as officials? What's the number one thing you need to be concerned about? Player safety. So what are some mechanics around that in order to do that? You can no longer watch what? You can't watch the ball.
You can't put your head down ever.
You can't put your head down ever. Exactly. Like my wife and her reference to our 14-year-old grandson that stays with us. You got him on 360, got to know where he's at all the time. The same way with these, whether it's 8 players or whether it's 11 players you're officiating on each team, you got to know where they're at all times. We'll talk about it here in just a little bit. Sometimes there's 4 of you, sometimes there's 5 of you, and you're responsible for. And we have pretty much cut it into like a piece of pie. We used to say you're responsible for individual responsibilities. We used to do that years ago when the game started to break down. Now it's like it is in basketball, whether it's 2-man or 3-man. You're responsible for a piece of the pie. And if you cut that into 5 sections, the whole field should be covered. Now, you don't have the luxury of having 7 or 8 individuals where you can break it down to multiple sets of 2 and 3 players. We have 5, so you have to have sets of the field covered, right? If you are responsible for the ball carrier, that's your main priority. The other 4 or 3 of you are watching players. One of the biggest things that we need to fix, which indicates that everybody is watching the ball, is as soon as the play or is down, and this is we're gonna have a quiz here in just a minute. As soon as the player is, are you down? Is the runner down for us, down by rule, or is it down by contact? Rule.
Down by rule.
Explain, those of you that answered quickly. Explain for the rest of us that don't know whether he's down by rule or contact. What's the difference?
Down by rule is when he is down, the whistle does not stop the play.
Okay, well, the whistle doesn't stop the play, but
It-
now I will say this, if he's down by contact, does the whistle really stop the play?
Well,
The
yes,
whistle doesn't really stop the play for either, but that, I mean, you're right. Well, let's expound further. What's the difference? Because
What-
last year we found out that on the rules test, at least the crew test, we didn't do quite so good. So these are some of the things in which that we can improve our knowledge. So it comes down to where the rubber meets the road.
When the ball carrier, when anything but the hand and the feet of the ball carrier touch the ground, he
when
is
he's in
down.
possession of the ball.
In possession of the ball, he's down.
So now you got it. That, anything, I was getting into some specific of rules. And what rule is this he's in now?
Rule 2.
Rule 2. Those of you, whether you've got
Most
50
important.
years or whether you've got 35 minutes. You need to know rule 2. The packet that they just gave you, you need to know rule 2.
Definition.
Rule 2 is the definitions of the game. It defines
So when
everything.
he says the hand and the foot on the ground, for those of us that have 35 minutes, we're like, well, I see that on Saturday and Sunday, that makes sense, but what does that mean in reference to down by contact or down by rule? So we haven't fully explained it yet. It's gonna be on the quiz here in a minute, so fully explain the difference between down by rule and down by contact. We're on the road, but let's get to the end of it. Does it matter?
Sit down by contact would be your your pros, or they're down by contact.
They're down by contact.
We're
Everybody
down
else
by.
is down by rule.
Yeah.
So does that mean that if the runner's running down the field and he slips and his knee goes down in possession of the ball?
He's down by.
He's down by what?
Rule.
He's down by rule. Therefore, what Marty said, say it again.
When he is in possession of the ball, anything but his feet or his hands touches the ground, he's down.
That causes him to be down by rule. It doesn't take contact. Because if he has to have contact, that means that if he did what I just explained, he can get up and do what?
Yeah.
You can't do that in FHS rules, right? Correct. You need to know that, and that comes out in rule 2.
It's just like you have coaches that also say, well, we teach our kids to go to the whistle. The whistle has nothing.
So somebody that's been in here for, no, let's don't put you on the spot. We'll try not to run anybody off. But if you've been here for a couple of years under your belt, we're gonna put you on the spot. If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I teach my kids to go to the whistle. But we've got people that will stand up here and say, hey, the whistle doesn't really determine whether he's down by rule. So what's your response to that? Because you're going to hear that, whether you're 35 minutes or whether you're 50 years. What's your response to that?
The play kills itself.
The play kills itself. Players need to learn
Situational
situational awareness. Putting all of these phrases into communication to the coach. All right, obviously, these guys have got a little bit more experience. How many years do you have, sir? 3. Oh my, 49. All right, more than 2.
29.
29, all right, so their situational awareness. Their ability to communicate, somewhere down the road, somebody said this to them, or they've heard somebody say this, so it's clearing it up for them. But you're gonna have to put that into an explanation to a coach who's upset Because, hey, we just got a 15-yard foul, because what do we have to do? If he continues to play after the situation appears that the play's over, what have we got to do?
Get the whistle.
We've got to penalize, because it's not good for the fans that in the stands and see us letting them make a mockery of the game. We've got multiple kids getting hurt, playing way after play that's clearly over, and we get into these situations. So those of you that just have 40 minutes now in officiating, this is not easy. This is not easy. It's fun, but it's not easy. It's difficult. I don't want to run anybody off, but you have to pay attention. You have to be aware of what's going on. You have to know Rule 2 and all of those things. Questions? Doing a lot of talking. I'm not to my 30%. Way over it. A lot more talking and a lot more input.
Let me mention, he talked about the crew test. The same thing is true on the original test. The problem that most newer officials, and sadly some that have been around for a while, have on that test is you're thinking what you see on Saturday and Sunday, and they're going to give you questions that would lead you to use another rule set. So you have to be certain that you understand the rule set that we function under. Okay. That's the NFHS rules, this rule set. So whenever you hear something like he's just explained about down by rule or down by contact, you got to file that away. You've got to learn by habit that this is how we've got to call this, because you're going to have high school coaches that don't know the difference between the rule sets are going to try to talk you into the other thing. So and using the vocabulary that the rule book uses is always going to benefit you.
Trying coaches that think that pass interference automatically gives you a first down.
Yeah.
And how many years has that been changed?
Yeah, 1, 4, 5, maybe more
Yeah.
than that.
So some of you didn't hear what Jeff said. He said we still have coaches that think that a pass interference is an automatic first down. Whenever you hear that, then you respond with the only penalties that give you a first down in NFHS are those that have roughing in the name. Those are the only ones. That's a simple explanation, and it's universally true in NFHS. The only ones that give you an automatic first down: roughing the passer, roughing the kicker, roughing the snapper. Right? So that's it. So
how many seen the NFHS still? I'm not picking on anybody. Where they just showed it recently, where they did an onside kick. The other team picked it up, ran in.
Yeah.
One of the 5 has to know.
Yeah.
Has to know.
You gotta kill it.
yeah.
So those are some of the things about situational awareness that we'll get into here in just a second. But that's probably a little beyond our 101 discussion, what we're talking about here tonight. The NFHS is going to give you an example of an onside kick. First of all, you got to get in Rule 2 and know what a kick is, and when it ends, and when it's touched, possessed, and all of those definitions around a kick, possession, muff, what someone can do once the ball is touched. If the kicking team now picks it up, can they advance it? Can they not? There was a very high profile play several years ago in the playoffs that determined a playoff, the winner, because of a situation like this. So you must know.
Any go do what you're gonna do, ain't been ball. You better know that onside kick, cause that's all they can do. So onside kick.
No, even at the upper levels, this turned into a Madden game.
Yeah, it is.
Just started into Madden, just throw it to the fastest guy, then you go kick an onside kick. Throw it to the fastest guy, kick an onside kick. So I mean, that's the way the game is evolving, so you have to really know. But back to my point, knowing whether the runner's down by contact, whether he's down by rule. Everybody on the crew over the past few years, even into the college level, and even into, let's stop at the college level. We train our guys. We train our guys and gals to stop because it's really bad. With line of scrimmage officials that think that as soon as the ball carrier goes down, this indicates the fact that I've got to do it. I've got to do this. When we see multiple officials on the field doing this, which signals what?
Start the play clock.
Watching the ball.
Somebody said, who
Oh.
said start the play clock?
So,
Start the play clock. This starts the play clock. But somebody back here said they're watching what?
You got five.
Watching the
officials
ball.
doing this, they're all watching. the
They're
ball.
watching, exactly, and that's what, it's so difficult, we're really having a hard time training our college guys and gals to let them know that, hey, it's only the covering official that needs to be watching the runner. So we really only need one official, that may be the referee. If the quarterback gets sacked, who should be watching the ball carrier? The referee. Starts 40-second play clock, blow the whistle. 3-yard run up the middle, who's going to cover the runner?
You the umpire.
The umpire.
The referee.
See the ball, start 40-second play clock, blow the whistle. Sweep to the left, sweep to the right, line of scrimmage official. Where we see it is a sweep to the right. This line of scrimmage official will start the 40-second play clock, but who inevitably is going to do it?
back judge.
Or the white hat.
Well, lots of times, but who's gonna do it no matter what?
The other
The other
side.
line of scrimmage official is going to start the 40-second play clock. It happens because they're watching, you gotta get the spot. But we've missed a whole backside of players, you could be hit, punching. Late hit, blow block, whatever it is, and those things are out in the open, alright, because. Unless I don't think we have one side stance anymore, I think the field is split where we have. The backside is always viewed by at least half of the fans, alright, so we can't miss backside fouls because we're watching the ball. So you must know whether the runner is down by rule, down by contact, and start the 40-second play clock, all of that is in rule 2, which leads into player safety. We don't have 4 other or 3 other officials watching. That's the reason. I'm not blaming us. I'm not saying it's us. It's the way that the game is breaking down. All right. It's the way the game is breaking down. The players are just playing that way. Now, some schools are worse, some schools are better, but it's just the way the game is being played on the edge, and players are taking cheap shots. And it just takes a few. Because what does everybody have in their hand? Well, what does everybody?
Camera.
Yeah, because it just takes a few high profile hits for little Johnny to get hit and hurt, nobody sees it, it just takes a few of those, it seems like the game is completely out of control. Now, we're not gonna catch them all, they're still gonna happen, but we've got to do our dead level best, because I don't know what it is. Even with multi-million-dollar athletes that have these situations happen to them. As soon as they see a yellow flag come out on the ground, it's over. Right, I might have just got blindsided, might have just got wiped out. But as soon as I see that yellow flag come out, it's okay, we're all good. We can go on to the next play. That's why it's so important to get these fouls.
And it's also very important that you know where your responsibility on the field is. Because if you're watching the ball and something like that happens 5 feet from you, then you're seen as being responsible. Now, if it happens in another area where you are watching your area, then that's going to be covered by one of your teammates. And so that's why it's so important not to be ball watching as a crew, covering the area that you're supposed to be covering.
So we're spending a lot of time because it's obviously a big deal, all right? We want to get right out the gate with player safety, points of emphasis, and making sure that we stay on top of it. You've heard this for years, but it's becoming the level to which that players and really fans are getting to the point where, man, I don't know. What we cannot have for the sake of football is a drop off in interest of the game. You gotta keep it popular, you gotta keep it important, we gotta keep it safe, because we want people to stay involved in the game. All right, let's go to the next.
Moment to have it little boys play.
That's right, we want people to continue to play this game that we love. All right, late hit at the sideline, I don't know, did that come through scenario B,
Yep.
standing over a point? There should have been plays with that.
Because I'm on Mac, it didn't
They didn't-
pull the things over out of your
I'm gonna
pocket.
give you a scenario. I typed in there a scenario. You're gonna have to bear with it. For a late hit. 1st and 10 from the 50. 1st and 10 from the 50. Running back runs 10 yards near the sidelines. Foot has not contacted out of bounds yet. But a B player hits him well into the white. and out of bounds. Do you, as the covering official, maybe even the referee as you're looking out there, maybe even the back judge as you're looking out there, do you have a foul for a late hit? Runner's foot has not touched down out of bounds yet, but the defense contacts him well into the white and out of bounds.
Legally, legal contact.
He's the ball carrier. He is the ball carrier, as he has run 10 yards. See, this is yes,
So if he closes the sideline like he's going.
he is at the sideline. The white that I'm referring to is the coaching box. All right, the white area that I'm talking about is he has crossed the sidelines. He's in the white area coaching box, 10 yards at the 40.
And the foot has never
Foot
touched.
has never touched, but you've got the defender who has hit him in the white, well out of bounds.
Legal play. Because the ball was not dead by rule.
He's not out of bounds.
So.
Give himself up.
We don't have that in high school.
Wait, say that
But
again.
just that-
Give himself up.
Didn't get himself up. That's, he's not technically out of bounds by rule because he didn't do what?
The foot has never touched the out of bounds. But he's still in bounds.
I wanna put you on the spot because, come on, Dirk, say what you're thinking. Just say it. I know what just say it, please. Just go ahead and say, it. My scenario, just say what you're thinking.
Well, that far out, I mean, you gotta,
He's not out. And I put him on the spot, so I'm gonna defend him. By rule, he's not, but by common sense, and golly, he's a foot and a half out of bounds. He just got wiped out, but he's not out of bounds, so what I'm painting here is this difficult scenario for those of you that are now in here for 45 minutes. This is what you're getting into, all right? This is why we say, okay, well, let's take the new guys and let's put them out here with me at umpire. Or let's take the new guys out here and let's put them at back judge. And that's why we joked keenly a while ago, said, hey, you're gonna referee your first game here. You know, that's why we don't put you in those situations, because that play that I just described to you is very, 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 very difficult. Because it's very hard to say whether this is legal or whether it's not in real time. Okay.
I've had situations like that, and usually I'm not gonna throw that, but I'm gonna go to that defender, talk to him and say, hey, he's giving himself up, that's too far out. If it happens again, you're getting flagged for it.
So the other thing we gotta remember, is we gotta do this in real time, where we don't have cameras that can go back and make that decision for us like the college and NFL does.
So now let me flip that over. Who does have a camera?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, and
But
that,
I don't wanna.
but-
That is gonna be a scenario.
I'm just imagining water.
If they send it in, let's just say they say the coaches say you made the wrong call and they send it in, that's one that Grant's gonna look at and he's gonna stand by you no matter how you called that.
I'm
because-
just muddying the water because what Derb said was, I knew he was thinking, I've done enough games and to think, oh, is it? And what we refer to that is not anything against the fact that by rule, he's not out of bounds.
But you also gotta think the safety.
Then that's what I was getting, that's where we were going. I knew what he was going to say, I knew what he was thinking, I could see it on several of your faces, wait a minute, this is a whole lot easier to go like this. And explain that way, as opposed to say, man, we're splitting hairs, whether did he get his foot down in real time? It looks vicious, it looks ugly, we don't have replay, where we're right, where we're wrong. Where we are landing on this, because what are we saying? What are we saying?
safety.
Safety. So when you get in this situation, err on the side of what?
Safe.
Of caution. So go ahead and call.
The-
Split hairs.
What he said about us not having cameras is also a point all about this, because the crowd is going to see it the way they think it ought to be. The coaches are going to see it and they don't, all they see is he got hit. And when I saw that contact, he's way out here. They're not even thinking about whether his foot was on the ground or not.
But I did a dirty trick to you because I set this up on purpose, knowing where we were gonna go with it. I knew that there were gonna be some guys say, hey, it's not down my rule, and they're right. And I knew that there was gonna be some guys and now say, oh God, that's really ugly, can we do that? I'd rather just go ahead and explain it with the foul because it looks bad. Alright?
So when you say caution, go ahead and throw it. Say that because you can always go to your white hat and you can always pick it up.
You can always
Instead of
pick up a
changing it,
flag.
throw
You,
it.
you can always go back and pick it up, but I can assure you, now, if he hits him in bounds and we're clearly on the green versus the white, whether we haven't clearly gone out of bounds, that's not the scenario I'm talking about. We can't just penalize every hit at the sideline. What I'm talking about is when the runner has clearly almost stepped out of bounds, but he's in the white. And we all know those hits we've seen, and we have to determine, God, was he really out of bounds? Is that the scenario that makes us all go, oh God. But you can feel it happen. And in that scenario, yes, just go ahead and call it because the NFHS is saying, and we gotta clean this stuff up. And God, start cleaning this stuff up. Now, that's just one scenario that's easy to explain. There's hundreds of them. There's hits on the quarterback. There's the runner that has just went down to the ground and they piled on. There's all kinds of scenarios that you can take to the edge of. My scenario is just one of many. Thoughts?
My thought was, what Mike said was, is the runner looking to find somebody to hit? Or is he giving himself up and clearly wanting to go out?
By NFHS rules, though, we do not have anything that ever says about it, anybody giving themselves up.
So all of this stuff,
I mean.
But you gotta think.
You and I both know that if that runner's looking for somebody to take
Yeah.
on and he hit. Okay, but if he's given, not basically, if he's, I'm trying to get out of bounds and avoid this.
Yeah, but and his scenario is he is going out of bounds because he's almost into the white.
and the reason that the reason we try to take the newest officials and put them in the middle, it doesn't always happen that way, because these plays happen, they're very difficult. Was he giving himself up, or was he trying to defend himself? Did the defender have time to pull up? Was there a scrum of players? Did he get contact and pushed into him? All of these things that you have to factor into this scenario.
So that's why they put me at umpire 25 years ago and I'm still there, right?
You do have to consider the continuation of the tackle as they go out of bounds.
That's right.
All of a sudden, you still got him grasping the runner 3 yards out of bounds.
Yeah,
So because we were just talking about that, we had a game with Stillwater. And he made the call on it because the defender hit him in bounds, but he didn't stop the hit until they were like 5 yards out of bounds before he finally stopped the hit. And he flagged it.
these scenarios are multiple, and you have to interject your common sense. That's why you get paid. That's why we try to do and put as much information in your hand as we can. We can't cover everything, but we can say, okay, look, based on the fact what NFHS is saying, and the state will come out, they'll give you further guidance. All right, you give your state rules, maybe Dave Gore will further ad lib on this, but this is just one scenario. So quickly going into the next one. Standing over. There is really little to zero tolerance for unsportsmanlike acts. And this kind of goes right back into trying to clean up the game. Anybody that stands over, tries to belittle, draw attention to themselves, or call it. You can just call it. Get it over with, don't let it fester, don't let it rise. Because what we're seeing now is the players are taking exception to it. They're no longer picking him, not his number. Somebody else sees it, they've got his number, they're gonna be a retaliation, and it just starts to snowball. But just call it.
I know one of the things we're seeing more now is the celebrations with the swords or whatever they're calling, with the stick. All that stuff, man, because they're not supposed to bring any kind of deal upon themselves.
Brandishing.
You know, I had a kid last year, got a touchdown pass, the first thing he did was, yeah. I threw it on him. His coach like, what? I'm like,
Where do they see it?
college and NFL,
And
the
the college-
Superman stuff.
College has relaxed the rule to allow them, you didn't have so much of it in high school until college relaxed their rule. Now that college has brought it in, and now it's they're either going to have to allow some of it, or they're gonna have to take a hard stance against it right now. There's not been much directive of it, we've just kind of always had the rule to say, hey, they're not supposed to do any of this. But nobody's really put their foot down yet, but it's coming.
Right, slam it over the goalpost and.
All right, let's go on to the next slide. We'll try to speed it up just a little bit. We might have to skip some. Helping the runner is a big deal. I think we've all kind of been with that for several years. Let's just kind of move on through that. You got any questions with this?
So-
They've got,
You have to be-
where this is coming from is they don't, and it's player safety, they don't want anybody coming from behind. Square in the back, like the push that you see here, they don't want anybody pushing these young guys into or from square in the back. Now.
That's right there's what you said, it's the square in
It's
the
the square in the
back.
back. Now, the problem is if I run up the middle and he and I are shoulder to shoulder, if he comes up to the side, what you have to have is the square hand in the back where he's fully extended and pushing. Well, you can see that.
Direct contact on the run.
We had
Direct.
we had it last year, the first. I called him. The very next play, they did it again. I didn't call it, and the coach wanted to know why. And I said, because this time he was off to the side and he was more pushing the pile than he was direct.
Yes.
Cause I told him, you cannot be directly behind him and push.
I wouldn't go wild with this. It's been in the rules for years, but where they really don't want to get into is where you see the Philadelphia guys, where they push them square in the back. They don't want that. They don't want nobody grabbing and pulling the people into and into the end zone. Just be aware of that. It might happen. It will surprise you. Most likely, if you see somebody grab somebody and pull them into the end zone, you'll be like, oh, God, do that. It will happen so quick that you'll most likely probably let it go and come back to the fact that, hey, I think he just pulled him into the end zone. But it doesn't ever happen very often, but just be aware of it so we can talk about it.
Then you stand up there and go. Everybody's wanting to know what in the world you're doing.
Yeah, you know, there are some signals that referees just don't do. Just announce it or just give the personal foul, however you can get out of it. Don't do this.
My wife said.
Here's another one. It happens regularly, and I'm sorry because we've got mixed company in the room and I don't want to, so, but don't do that. Another one is ineligible men downfield. Don't pat your head because as soon as I see that, you should be rubbing your belly. Just ineligible man downfield, number whatever. Don't do this. We've done it for years and this should be illegal. All right, let's go to the next.
As long as your mate don't come and do it.
I think this is just all around the same scenario. Let's get to the quiz and then we'll try to.
Hey, can I say something?
Yes, yes.
You were talking about, and my first white hat taught me this. He said, we wear black and white, but the game is not meant to be called black and white.
Exactly. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
And that's something the young guys, I've always tried to teach our young officials is see what you call, but don't call everything you see.
Exactly. Danny Griffith, 45. All right, let's get to the quiz, and then we're gonna spend some time with what he just said, spend a little bit about the stewardship of the game. I don't know, did the quiz make it through? I hope.
There we go.
Oh, you got
Oh.
4 of them.
All right.
All right, well, you got 4. I had 10 up there. All right, is pushing the runner legal? Yeah. When is assistance?
Assistance. What is assistance?
Assisting the runner.
I guess assisting.
Assisting, yeah. When,
Cause that's really what they call it, is.
All right,
assisting the runner.
when is it? When is
assistance illegal.
illegal?
So, oh, take the lights down a little bit.
It's when you push them directly
Is that-
in the back.
There we go.
Or pull them, or pick them up. and
Or
carry them.
lift or carry, yeah, lift, carry, push or pull, push directly on the run.
That's something we did cover. Hopefully those of you that have seen the little card. What authenticating mark is required?
FHS.
And where's it located?
On the wall.
On what?
Football,
The football, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the football has an NFHS logo on it. That's what we're allowing to play with our high school games. Okay. All right, what about a second unsportsmanlike? What happens?
They disqualify themselves.
Disqualified himself.
He's disqualified himself. Or herself for play. All right, the next question, we'll go into 5 because I can remember it. Who is responsible for marking or starting the 40-second play clock. Covering officials, very good, very good. Okay. Anything? Alright.
So define covering official for him a little bit, because
Someone wanted, somebody, hey, I'm talking to Bob.
I'll take a stab.
There you go.
The guy that's covering it and that makes the call.
Okay, alright.
Who's got the runner?
official that has that area? One that's in the area.
Who's got the area? You got the runner, all of those.
Hopefully, he's the only one doing it.
Oh, yeah, only one. Now, all of those are correct. And Dirk makes a good point. Hopefully, he's also the only one blowing his whistle. And that's true. This kills the play just like this does. Now, we can get out of this because very quickly go, whoop. The players aren't gonna stop with this. They know they're gonna stop with this, but this does the same thing. All right, so be careful. Now, the 22 or 16 players are not going to hear this. This does the same thing.
It's nice if you could do it at the same time.
Right. Now, moving forward, as you advance in your career, you should feel comfortable. If you are the covering official, blow your whistle. We would really like across this association, and we're teaching the GTOA officials across that association, and we feel like this association and the GTOA officials association, that everybody in those two associations are good enough to know when the ball is down by rule, and if you're the covering official, blow your whistle. Signify the end of the play.
And blow
All end of incomplete passes need a whistle by the covering official. Now, if it's down the field in between the back judge and one of the line of scrimmage officials, it's okay for both of you to blow your whistle, signify the end of the play, signal incomplete.
Hopefully you're looking at each other though. I mean, if it's a close call.
Well, I mean, if it's clear that the ball
Yeah.
clearly skips across the ground, blow your whistle, incomplete. Runner crosses the sideline, we gotta have a whistle by the covering official. Ball goes into the end zone, have to have a whistle. All right, so that signifies pretty much 90% of the plays that we would like to have a whistle. Now, we used to go back and say, hey, we don't want to hear any whistles. We don't want to have any whistles. Don't want to have any whistles. But we feel like that everybody in our two associations are good enough. If you see the ball in possession down by rule, start the 40-second play clock, blow your whistle.
And blow it loud enough for everybody.
Blow loud enough, everybody can hear.
Nope.
Now, if you do not see the ball down by rule, then don't blow your whistle. Don't start the 40-second play clock. And if nobody on the field sees it, he gets up, hands the ball to somebody, I can assure you that whoever's running the 40-second play clock will start the 40-second play clock. Without a whistle and without this.
We do that, every once in a while, we'll have two or three plays that we don't have a whistle.
Yeah, at every level.
And most of the time, it's a run right up the middle.
that's something I want you to talk about. The run right up the middle where we are saying,
The umpire back there too.
yeah, we don't have the umpire in the defensive backfield. We're going to give forward progress. So let's say he gets 2 yards and he's knocked back 4. We want the sideline officials blowing the whistle on that rather than because they're the ones who are going to mark forward progress. So is that an instance where we might have 2 whistles in that?
Great questions. We got a 3-yard run up the middle. Scrum of players. Line of scrimmage official H, line of scrimmage official L, track the ball up the field, they lose it. They have no idea where it's at. The scrum of players starts going backwards. Let's say we give them a 5-yard run. Let's say we start at the 50 and we go to the B45. We know that somewhere in there, the ball got to the 45 because the scrum did. Can't see the ball. My common sense that we talked about and my awareness tells me that, hey, somewhere in there, we got to the 45. So I track the ball to the 45. Scrum starts to go back. I don't know where the ball's at. But what's the rule?
Well, by then his progress will stop, so even if he loses it, he's down.
But what is the golden rule? If I don't see the ball, I'm not gonna do what? Or do this.
Right.
So I'm gonna stand at the 45-yard line, and now who is responsible for killing the play?
The one who sees,
Probably the umpire.
Probably the umpire or the referee. Because the ball's coming right back to both of them now because the
We
umpire's
can
back
tell
there, right?
that, yeah.
So as soon as they see the scrum start coming back at them, now they're not gonna spot it. But they know situational awareness and the fact that the ball is in there somewhere, they're gonna be looking. Forward progress is stop. I gotta find the football. I gotta find the football. Now, let's say that it happens 3 or 4 steps. And we still don't see the football. Players are eventually going to do what?
Rip it
They're gonna
out.
start breaking down, they're gonna start separating, they're gonna start slowing down a little bit. They're going to start to give you the idea that, hey, the ball is not loose in there. And he's gonna see it, he's gonna see it, we're not gonna see it, but we're going to discern from these two. Because these guys are just continuing to shuffle backward. If the ball's loose in there, what's gonna happen?
We're gonna be on
They're
ground.
gonna be going crazy, right? We can't see it, but they can. We're gonna have to use their body language to tell us that, hey, he's still got possession of the ball in there. They're not going crazy. I'm gonna blow my whistle. Now, if the ball does come loose between me discerning that and blowing my whistle as the referee and umpire, then it is what it is. Forward progress would stop way up here. And we knew that we didn't have a fumble because we knew that players weren't going crazy at.
And hopefully one of your line guys is at the spot where the forward progress was in.
The line of scrimmage guys, where do we get to? We got to the 45 and we never stopped. We stay there. It's now up to the umpire and the referee to kill the play. We're just gonna say, hey, spot's up here. All right, as soon as they blow their whistle, they should be aware enough to start the 40-second play. And they both might do it in that scenario, and that's fine.
And if it's quarterback, it's usually getting blown pretty quick.
Right. So that's a great scenario, but a very, very, now they have difficulty with that at all levels. At all levels have difficulty with that play.
And I can tell you as the umpire, I never blow a whistle.
Right.
I'll give you this, and then hopefully somebody will, and usually it's one of the wings. Or each jab.
Number 5. Who is responsible? Who is responsible for calling intentional grounding?
Referee.
Referee on the ball.
But he needs help.
He's got
All right, we got the referee, but is everybody comfortable with that?
referee's butt.
Everybody's cool with the referee, but he needs help, right? He needs help, all right?
Let's talk through the mechanic for our white hats.
So let's talk through the mechanics of, because we kind of struggle with this sometimes, even to the point where we don't call it. Because the referee will find out 2 or 3 plays later, he'll go to that area of responsibility and say, hey, was there a receiver out there? What are you talking about? 2 or 3 plays earlier, they threw a pass out here, was there a receiver out there? I can't remember.
Can I tell you what happened to us?
It was probably along those lines, I'm sure.
This was in our state championship game last year. Had the same scenario. I couldn't tell if it was in the end zone. Couldn't tell if the quarterback, he scrambled away from me just a little bit. And then we had the ball go past the line of scrimmage, but when George came into me, he just came in and told me, and I'm not blaming George but he said we didn't have a receiver in the area. Never said nothing about the ball going past the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So, of course, I'm like, are you sure we didn't have a receiver? He's like, no, we didn't have a receiver. Well, so I signal, go back, drop my flag, we're gonna have a safety. Well, about that time, we're starting, luckily Scott was still standing with the ball where it's supposed to be. You gotta think, did the ball cross the line of scrimmage? Guys, that's very important to know. So you wing officials, that's 2 things we need. See, there wasn't a receiver area, did the ball cross the line of scrimmage? And then we gotta know if he was outside the free blocking zone.
Ugly as sin, but we got it right.
We got it right.
Yeah.
And even the announcers on the ball, on the TV said, you know what, I'm really impressed with that they came back and changed it. Because a lot of officials would not have done that, they would have just stuck with what they were doing. But luckily, we had good enough communications to where, hey, let's think this over for a minute.
So the mechanic needs to be that the white hat drops his beanbag where the pass is released.
Which I knew he was in the end zone, so I didn't.
So yeah, so it didn't matter in that set, but the white hat drops his beanbag and then goes to the people that have those two pieces of information. And it may be two different people, and you can do it on the radio, whatever the case may be. The white hat's going to determine whether he's outside of the free blocking zone, not the tackle box like it is, but the free blocking zone. He's gonna figure that out. And then your line of scrimmage guys are going to be able to tell you whether it had gone beyond the line of scrimmage and then was someone in the air.
That's where the white hat
Yeah.
needs help.
So those are those pieces. And again, I've had line of scrimmage guys throw a flag, and it's like, no, you don't need to throw that flag. And the white hat doesn't throw the flag at first either. We're going to put the beanbag down.
Not feedback, just be aware of where.
Yeah.
Just
Or go stand there, one way or the other, or go stand at that spot. And then get that information, and then you make the determination and you drop your flag at that point.
Same thing with, and that's the same thing with, pass or fumble.
That's gonna be the next question. Are we on
6 is.
6?
Yeah.
Question 6 is, who is responsible for ruling pass fumble?
Referee.
The referee is responsible.
Nope, not in GTOA mechanics.
Who's responsible?
The line judge is responsible.
Let me clarify. What's the question? Order pass, the line judge is
I'm
responsible.
just talking about.
The
The pass
fumble,
fumble.
Here.
fumble
You
incompletion,
do not you do not want the line judge ruling.
You're right.
pass fumble.
You're right. I'm sorry. Got the wrong one.
Backwards.
Yes.
We won't get into that today. We'll use that for next.
That's a whole another bag.
Where the fact gets hit, and he is close to releasing the ball. It is the referee's sole responsibility to determine whether that's a pass or a fumble. Now, I have seen where the quarterback loses the ball out of his hand here, he gets hit, and the ball is floating as a fumble. And he continues his forward motion. And the ball appears to go, it doesn't appear, but the ball goes 15, 20 yards downfield. It appears to be a forward pass. The back judge, incomplete. The referee's going, hey, that was a fumble. So now we gotta go back and put Humpty Dumpty back together and redo the down. So if the ball comes out funny, if it's not spinning like a normal spiral, if it's floating funny, you have to discern. You have to use your situational awareness, because as line of scrimmage officials, as umpires, as back judges, you're not gonna see the quarterback how he released it cleanly or not. So if it comes out funny, don't rule on it. Even if the ball's bounding on the ground and the defense picks it up and runs it back, let them do it. We can come back and say, hey, that was a pass, according to the referee. Okay, well, no big deal. We'll just go back, incomplete, set the ball where it was, and roll it to the next down. As opposed to taking the ball away from the defense, putting it back to the previous down and redoing it again.
So,
All right,
line guy's gonna run down, call a touchdown.
you're gonna run down, call a touchdown, cover the play, get it to the defense, whatever. Referee's gonna come over and say, no. I'm gonna go ahead and rule that, hey, forward pass. No problem. All I know is the ball came out like it does. It's rolling on the ground out here. I have no idea what it is. Looks like it's forward and hits the ground, which is what, by definition, rule 2.
Incomplete
Complete
pass.
pass. But it come out funny, even hit right here at my feet. It's the most awkward thing, and some of you have done it. When it comes out funny, that lands at your feet, you just sit there and look at it. The defense realizes you're not going to do nothing with it, so he runs over and picks it up, takes off running. It very well may be a fumble. You've seen it on TV, maybe had it happen to you, but don't kill that. It comes out funny like that.
I've had actually the forearm going forward and the ball still go back.
Yeah, or the ball comes out, it's a backwards pass. It actually might be a pass, but if he gets hit, it's a backwards pass. So there's all kinds of things now.
That's what we say only. I think in college, if it's a scramble, the center judge gets part of that responsibility.
Right, it makes,
High school,
we'll
we don't
say,
want that.
we'll say who's responsible for determining forward backward for next time. All right, now I want to spend just a few minutes, just 2 or 3 minutes talking about the stewardship of the game in which that we are responsible for, and then I'll be done. then Marty can go into his, and we'll try to get out of here. So, we as officials, 3 pillars that I talked about, that we are a part of, players, coaches, and the fans. You have a huge responsibility as the 4th cog of this wheel to make sure the game goes off very well. From all of the mechanics that we just talked about, all the way down to knowing who's responsible for forward backwards pass, to who rules forward fumble or pass fumble, all of that stuff matters. Safety of the game, cleaning it up, all of that matters for the viewership of the fans. We're there to make sure the game is well enjoyed, it's well played, and it comes off, no hitches. And we walk out of there and nobody knows who we are. That is our responsibility as stewards of the game. What you're doing here right now, what you're doing leading up to this is all part of it. We share a huge responsibility because the game at its core right now are not endangered. It's not under threat, but we can't allow this to continue. All right, you have to take this very serious. You have to administer the penalties correctly. You have to know the rules extensively, and then you have to administer them without hiccup. All right, so all of these things are stewardships of the game, and you play a huge part of it. We play a huge part of it, and I'm just really excited about 2026 and where we're headed. GTOA has a lot of things that they're getting ready to roll out that we're going to use and take advantage of. It's going to be available to you. I won't steal their thunder. I'll let them announce it first because we're getting recorded. I know Ethan might even be watching. I don't want to steal his thunder. The GTOA and our association, we got a lot of stuff that we're kind of partnering with, looking forward to as we get ready to get a little bit closer to season comes out. Any questions? Study Rule 2. Make sure you're in Rule 2, no Rule 2, no Rule 2, no Rule 2. We come back next week. We'll probably spend a little bit more time with some video. Maybe we'll get some stuff from things that we talked about here tonight. Pass fumble, all of these things. We'll even put some officials that are blowing the whistle all over the play or all over the field. And won't put anybody on the spot, but we'll have some stuff for that next week. All right.
All right. I would just want to do some logistics things tonight. Try to give you a few opportunity, so some information that you're going to need here. Try to get it here in a second. There we go. All right. I'm going to pass this around. This is a QR code. You're going to need to go use your phone and register your attendance here tonight. The sheets that we had up there are for my benefit so that I can communicate with you. But this is what Sherry, this is how Sherry will record your attendance in the meetings, okay? And Scott and
Forgot your phone.
what if you forgot your phone? Oh, you know what? You can do that with somebody else's phone after they're done, because what it does is it brings up something and you've got to fill some information in there. So you can use someone else's phone to do that. No problem. Anyway, now I don't, because we are not zooming to secondary location, I'm not certain of how much of this got recorded tonight. But the rest of these meetings will be recorded and will be posted on our Facebook training page. And we've just started a new YouTube training channel as well. And those will be posted. And if you're not able to make an in-person, one of the in-person meetings, if you'll watch that meeting and then notify me that you've watched it, we can get you credit for that. You need 3 meetings out of the 6 that we have. You need 3 meetings in order to get credit for the year. That's one of the prerequisites for getting credit for this year toward your playoff consideration, those type things. But even though all you need is 3, every one that you get gives your crew points toward playoff consideration. So the more meetings that you attend, the better off you are in that regard. You will also get a local meeting credit for each day of the GTOA clinic on July 17th or 18th, and 18th. So I would really encourage you. They always do a great job of training there. And so I would highly encourage you to get registered for the GTOA clinic. OSSAA registration does not begin this year until July 13th. If you are a new official, if you have not officiated any sport for the OSAA, then your registration with them is half price. I think it's, if I remember right, it's $34, something like that, and then $15 for each additional sport. If it's 65 for anyone that's officiated in previous years. You need to get registered as soon as you possibly can. We have arranged for you to have your packets now so that you can begin studying for the test, but the test will not be available. It will not be open until July 23rd this year. All right. So we want you to be planning and working toward that. But again, the better score that you get, you have to pass the original part 1 test with at least a 75. If you are a first-year official, I would like for you to study this test, take the test. If you do not make a passing score, do not take it a second time without calling me. I'll help you. I'll take you through and kind of explain. I'm not going to give you the answers, but I'll kind of explain to you what they're asking. The thing that causes more young officials to fail that test than anything else is you assume you know the rules because you watch for Saturday and Sunday football, and the NFHS rule set is very different. All right, so I'll do my best to explain those differences to you. You need to get your gear. I would suggest, if you are a new official, that you order your gear now, because when you get right up close to the season and everybody is ordering it, sometimes they run out. Referee's Call in Oklahoma City is closing down. I was in there last week and he's got only a very few things left. I don't believe he's going to be able to supply everybody's needs. Officials Locker in Tulsa is a Broken Arrow is a good source, but I could not find a starter pack from them, at least on their website. You might call and ask because Referee's Call had a starter pack where they'd give you the shirt, the pants, the flag, everything, and I don't know whether they do that or not. Yeah.
They do have a sign up there that says starter pack. They did 2 weeks ago when I was at.
Okay, so again, yeah, and they will be at the GTO camp. Officialslocker.com, you can go and you should be able to get their information, their phone number and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So see Mark if you want that. The other thing is that we use Arbiter to assign our games. Our varsity games have all been assigned, and now there are a couple of late adds to crews that haven't got your games have not gotten in there yet. But all of the White Hats have their full schedules. There's only a half a dozen guys that don't know yet, and you could ask your White Hat if you have been added to a crew. But guys, it is very important to me that you, as soon as you receive an assignment, that you look at it, that you determine whether or not you can work that assignment, and that you accept or decline that assignment as early in the process as you possibly can. Here's the reason. I spend an average during the season of 14 to 18 hours a week assigning football.
And it's a headache.
And if you do not go in and accept your assignments, it only makes it worse for me. I don't, listen, if you can't do it or don't want to do it, decline. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It just allows me to go and say, okay, now I got to go to that next one on the list, the next one. But for those that you don't know, this little thank you. Icon right there is what the Arbiter app looks like. Get it on your phone. This is your assignments will come up this way. Once you accept that assignment, you'll be able to look at it and it'll tell you all of the details you need to know. Until you accept the assignment, your partners or the coaches cannot see who you are. So once you accept the assignment, they're able to go in and see who's coming. Your partner's able to see they're going to be working with. You can communicate with each other. Very, very important. Okay. And again, new guys, if you have issues with that, let me know. Now, again, you have OSSAA dues that you pay. The cost what that does for you is all of the things that the OSSAA provides. They provide the rule books, these packets that you've got tonight. Once you register with the OSSAA, you can get the NFHS app on your phone and the rule books will be there. You don't have to buy the rule books. Once you are registered with OSSAA, you'll receive the rule books for the sports that you are registered for. But that cost is separate from the dues for the NOOA. Being a member of the NOOA, if you are a part of a Friday night crew, the crew dues are $125, which adds up to about $25 per man. If you are an individual who is not on a crew, you are filling in at different places, or you're just working sub-varsity, or you're just working youth or whatever, then that's $30 for an individual. Need to get you to pay that by August 1st. We had a few that did not pay their dues. Let me say this before I say that. If you are a first-year football official, then you do not have to pay your NOOA dues. We do not charge you dues if you're a first-year official. We're trying to encourage people to come be an official. What's that? If you officiate, then you pay double. No, so yeah. So if you're a first-year official, but here's what those dues provide. Okay, those dues provide our Arbiter system. We pay almost $1,700 a year for Arbiter because we pay we pay some administration fees and then a certain amount for every slot. Our Arbiter bill is about $1,700. We pay almost $200 to be able to use Zoom in our meetings. We pay last year we paid almost $400 to the GTOA to provide you with a Huddle account so that you can go back and watch film of your games. Now, that also raises the issue that the only way that's going to happen is if you are communicating with the coaches that you need their Huddle film, and we'll talk a little bit more in the future about ways to ensure that, because what we have is awful lot of our games where the teams have never turned in the Huddle film, so we don't have a chance to watch video and get better.
There, quickly. That Huddle bill is a big thing, because GTOA kicks those things out, everybody that's associated with it. I see those, and as soon as I recognize that one of our crews went to one of those games, I go back in, and sometime throughout that week, I'll go watch it. Now, last year, there wasn't a whole lot of games to watch because we didn't get a lot of feedback. Now, I don't know whether that was our fault or whether that's the coach's fault or a combination of. But there wasn't a lot of games for me to come back and look at, because what I will usually do is pick out 8 or 10 plays and make comments in, hoping that you will use this money in which we have invested in you to go back, log into your Huddle account and say, oh God, this is our game, and here's 8 or 10 comments in our game. Oh, 2 or 3 of them are for me. Or, oh, hey, none of them are for me. They're all about Johnny this week. That happens. But whatever, you should go into your games, but you've got to get the coach to say, hey, send those in and tell him why. The year before, we had a huge number of games that were sent in. So I got to make a lot of comments and lots of games, which that's what it's for. So you can go in and see some immediate feedback from the games in which to come in. So it's our responsibility to make sure, because I look for those. But last year there just wasn't very many coming in. I think a lot of
Let me comment on that as well. White hats, we put on our game card, please send your Huddle video to share with GTOA so that we can do that. We put that on our game card. GTOA suggests printing up a little card with the information of where it would go to the GTOA, and then asking the head coach at the pregame meeting which one of your coaches handles your Huddle account, and then having one of your other guys, the line judge or the head linesman or whatever, take that card and go speak to that guy during pregame and say, will you please send us your Huddle video this week? So basically it's direct contact, directly asking them. When we've had an issue, I've called a couple of times or emailed. You've already got the information for those head coaches. White Hats will send you a contact list that has ADs and head coaches of all of our schools on it as well. But you've got that information. So follow up, because it is important. It is very helpful because we learn from those kind of things. Okay. You'll see here you can send your dues now to me, either Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Then all of that goes into the NOOA account. So, then also we paid for the dinner tonight out of those things. We also pay for, when we honor someone, or we're sending flowers to Mr. Jeffers' funeral, some different things like that. Now, your dues will not cover all of those things that I've just mentioned. We do charge our schools assigners fees, and a larger portion every year of what they are paying us is going to these association part and not going directly to assigners, just because we need this for the association. Okay. So please be certain, and we'll be getting in contact with you and saying, all right, please be certain you get your dues taken care of. And again, this is all, you benefit from doing this. So please get it done.
And just so you know, I have not received one complaint from any school about paying the assigner's fee. They're extremely happy with what you're doing. They're extremely happy with the relationship. They're extremely happy with the communication. That's why it's so vitally important to continue to do what you're doing. Let's just improve each year, because they're investing a huge amount of money for us to come. Now, they can't have the game without us, but they're investing in their kids. And in order to do that, they've got to spend a huge amount of money. And not one school has complained about paying extra to have their games assigned. So it's a great relationship right now. So keep doing what it is that you're doing. That's why we put so much emphasis on, hey, we've really got to be a part of this for that group.
Yeah. All right. I've got 2 or 3 more things here. Youth football, GCYF is expanded to 17 teams this year. It doesn't really change for us. All that it means is they'll have one team each week that has a bye. We'll still have 8 sites in GCYF that we have to cover. OKL has 12 teams, so we'll have 6 sites that we have to cover for them. We did receive a $5 a game raise for GCYF games. So if you're working a 4-man crew, which hopefully every game that you work for GCYF, you'll have 4-man. You get $55 a game. If someone drops out and you have to work a game or 2 that day with only 3, you'll get $60 each for those games.
Saturday games, man, that's a killing.
Yeah. Yeah.
To work your games and then work on Saturday.
Yeah.
I was on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, and guys, if you're new, though, that's where you learn, man. You see things on Saturday that make you make decisions and things. So anyway, and I'll say this, the GCYF is the best league of all of the youth leagues in order to work with, from the standpoint of working with their coaches, working with their parents. They have worked very hard to keep their coaches and their parents, treating the officials right. They have consequences if they do wrong, all of those kind of things. So for youth leagues, fantastic. We have at least 1 scrimmage on August 1st with the GCYF, 1 scrimmage at Catoosa. They usually have one at Tahlequah as well on August 1st. Games begin on August 8th. So we'll be doing our youth certification at the end of the July 21st meeting. I received the rules addendum today, so we can start getting our rules presentation together, but we should be able to get that done. Yes. Well, the meeting will be here, but it will be on Zoom. It will be on Zoom, so you can go to either Veneta or Tahlequah. So you can be at any one of those sites for that meeting. Yes.
What are the Veneta, what's the address to the Veneta location?
It is I don't have the address, but all but next week will be at the Emmanuel Church, which it was at last year. Scott Madison, we'll get that out. We'll get that out this week. We do need a site in Veneta for next week, if anybody might have a suggestion, because Scott Madison is the one who's giving us that site, and they're going to be at youth camp next week. And by the way, we also need somebody with a little tech savvy that can come help Jared here next week, because I'll be in Honduras on a mission trip. All right. Dan can help you see him afterwards. Yes, sir. We'll see if we can work that out. Yeah, all of these will be recorded on Zoom. We would much prefer that you're able to be live, with a group if possible. But if you aren't able to make those meetings, you are able to watch them and get credit for them. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. This QR code is time sensitive. They are doing their best to be certain that you're here and you're not signing the sheet for anybody else. But they have agreed to give us credit for our meetings if you watch them at a later date. Now that, in order for you to get that credit, you have to notify me, and I keep a list through the year, and I give her that list and she adds it to her list at the end of the year.
But just because you watch it doesn't mean you're going to.
Just because you watch it doesn't mean you're going to get credit. You've got to be sure that you communicate with me. And please, when I see 4 2-hour meetings that say I watched within about a 4-minute period, I kind of know that you're probably lying to me. Okay. So please be honest about this. This is something that benefits you. Kyle, do you have a question?
Because when I talked to a couple of Tahlequah parents from the deeper teams, they're supposed to be playing their games at Keys this year because the Tahlequah football fields get redone.
All right. We'll know all of those things by the time we get started. We'll have all that. And
And Keys does have they have one that they do. And if we could get 3 people to cover Keys, just their home side,
Yeah.
not any other side.
Yeah.
But because they do go through our association.
Okay, all right,
So
yeah,
if we can do their Saturday games and get 3 people out there, that's all they want is 3.
okay, yeah, well, yeah, let's
3
talk.
games.
Yeah, let's talk about that. We'll get that all figured out. Right now, we only have 6 scrimmages from our schools that are scheduled. White Hats, I would suggest you take a picture of this.
Yeah.
Write them down, see which one. We would like for every crew to work at least 1 scrimmage. We would like for every new official to work as many of these scrimmages as you possibly can. Again, it looks like probably 3 would be the most that you'd be able to do, but every snap that you get on the field benefits you if you're a first-year guy. What happens at the scrimmages, you are able to benefit from veteran officials that are able to point out to you what you need to be looking for, what kind of mechanics will you need to be applying, those kind of things. If you're coming back after a while off, it'd be a pretty good idea for you to do that as well, okay? Let me talk pay scale just a little bit. We have a significant raise this year. On February 7th, I met with the heads of I believe all of the state association, all of the officials associations in the state, met at the OSSAA office in Oklahoma City, and we talked through unifying or making consistent the pay scale for all of the different groups. And so this year we will get each official will get $150 a game, and the White Hat will receive if you have to go more than 50 miles, if in Arbiter it says more than 50 miles, then you'll get mileage round trip. I think it's 65 cents a mile on your check. That's just the White Hat. So the White Hat will have to decide whether he can help you out. I usually, if we do those, if I get a mileage check, I usually buy my guys dinner. That's usually the way it goes.
Just give it to Paul and he drives.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You can give it to the one who drives, whatever. The problem is that this is kind of a archaic way of doing mileage, because used to crews would travel to the game together. Now we're so spread out, we probably have 4 people driving the game. So sometimes that's a problem, but that's a significant raise from last year, $25 a man. And then for sub varsity, this is where it really makes a difference. You're going to get $65 per game for every game of a multiple set. And if you only have 1 game that night, you'll get $80 for that game. And so there's no difference between 3-man and 4-man and all of that kind of stuff, or difference between a 7th grade game and an 8th grade. No, it's just sub varsity, $65 a game if it's a multiple game set, $80 for a game if it's a 1-game set. So that's
On them 3 gamers, you're gonna make.
yeah. Well, yeah, 3 gamers is $195, where I believe we were making 150 last year, or 140. Well, yes, most of yeah. Yeah, I think that's it for me.